Hello, my name is Connor. If there's one thing you should know about me, it's that I love making lists. Naturally, that also pertains to making playlists too. That is something I do a lot. I have a lot of playlists, and some you are never gonna see because they're secret. What's not a secret though, and the playlist I wanted to share today, is my official 2025 Japanese music playlist for summer. With the start of my YouTube channel, I thought, why don't I make an official Spotify account for my YouTube channel, and then I'll just share some of my favorite songs and my favorite albums and playlists on there. Maybe you've seen in my recent videos that I have actually included a link to my Spotify in the description. So hey, maybe if you don't know, you can check it out there. I will also have it linked probably somewhere here on the screen, but in case you don't want to find me that way, you can also just search Connor in Spotify. With that out of the way, let's talk about the playlist itself. This playlist is titled Japanese Summery City Pop, and while yes, I would consider it city pop mainly, there is also a lot of like folk rock, also a little bit of electronic pop, but mainly all fun, very light, fluffy, acoustic city pop. I really want to say this playlist started for me when I listened to the Kaede X Lamp album from, I want to say 2020 or 2021. That album is so pretty, it's so beautiful, and there's just something about it that is just so relaxing and just overall beautiful. So with that as the template, I said, hey, you know what? I could probably find a lot more songs like this, add them to a playlist, and then through that, I could make a really cool daily playlist for this specific sound. So what is on this playlist, you might be wondering? Well, like I said, it's a lot of acoustic city pop, there is a lot of Lamp, there is a lot of Uwano Sora, there is a little bit of the band Apart, and also Mei Simonis, and also Kirinji. One of my favorite Japanese jazz bands ever is the band Ryusenkei, and so of course there is a lot here too. You also might have known that if you had seen my review from last year of their latest album. It's really good. I believe I have a few songs from there on here, but primarily I would have to say that their album Tokyo Sniper is my favorite of all time. Though as you will see on the playlist, there is also a lot of songs from their album Talio, which was a like tie-in TV show album. It's not the best, but man, that instrumentation is still stellar on there. There is some Taiko Onuki and also some Henri, and so there's a lot more classics that you might find on there too. Though, again, I'm not really going for their heavily produced, very glitzy city pop sound. I'm mainly going for that like much smaller, delicate sounding acoustic work. I think I've talked about this in other videos, but in general, I just love acid jazz, I love yacht rock, so of course there is a lot of that here too. Personally, I own a lot of records in those genres, and you know, I just cannot get enough of that. I think that's maybe my favorite sound, just because that's what I was, I guess, kind of raised on in a way. And so because of that, there are also some entries on here that are kind of in that same lane. I call this playlist City Pop because that's kind of what it feels like to me. However, there is also a lot of bossa nova and yacht rock and traditional jazz and just folk rock too, actually. In this playlist, I really wanted to focus on songs that were more acoustic with a lot less electronic production, but also too, there were just so many fantastic songs that kind of fit the overall vibe here that I just couldn't leave them out. So for that reason, you'll probably see a lot of like Hugin on here because I just love everything on their EP from, I think, 2 months ago now. I really feel like this playlist is best suited for like a long car ride or maybe a day in the park. Just maybe one of those scenarios where you would just like some background music that is just light and fluffy feeling, and that's what I really aim to deliver with this playlist. One other thing I should mention is that I do plan to also be updating this playlist just as often as I can, whenever I can, whether that's every week or every day. While yes, I do plan to update this throughout the summer, I do also plan to continue updating it throughout the future too, because honestly, I'll probably come back around to this next year, the year after that, and I guess every summer until I die, you know, whatever. But I mean, honestly, I'll probably outlive Spotify. I would say there's a good chance of that, so I guess until Spotify dies, and then I'll just move it somewhere else. I would also like to make a playlist like this for other seasons too. Like I said, I love making lists, and I don't see any reason why I wouldn't do the same for, you know, the fall and the winter and the spring. I actually think I made a fall one for myself back in like 2019, 2020, and that had a lot of, I want to say shoegaze and garage rock, like for example, Mass of the Fermenting Dregs and also Stereo Girl. And so I guess while I'm plugging this playlist, I might as well plug some others too. I opened the Spotify account, I think 2 or 3 months ago, and since then I've made about like 10 other playlists, so I think you should really check those out if you are interested in some of the other stuff that I listen to. I am also constantly maintaining 2 very important playlists for my channel. That would be the playlist for the best EPs of this year and the best albums. So in case you want to see what's been on my list and what's upcoming, that is where you can see it. That's where you can get all of the secret info. Okay, so who is this playlist for? I would really say that it's for anyone who is just looking for some nice summery pop music or pop adjacent music and would maybe like something in the background or something to actively listen to. I would like to think that I know enough about Japanese music that I made some good picks on here, but of course they can always be better. So, hey, maybe if you have any suggestions for an album that I should look into with some songs that I should add, let me know in the comments and I'll look into it. Now, I will say I am kind of a stickler for the specific vibe that I'm going for, so I might not put everything in. I might even take out some of the songs that are currently on there just because I might feel like maybe they aren't really suiting the vibe anymore or something about them in some way has changed. So I guess I don't want to exactly give you FOMO, but I guess maybe expect not everything to stay on here forever. Yeah, I believe that's everything I wanted to go over. Thank you so much for watching. I really think you should check out some of these playlists. I think they are fun. I think I've done an okay job curating them so far, and I would like to continue doing so in the future. In the case that you don't have any suggestions for the playlist, maybe let me know in the comments what you thought about the playlist as it stands. I would love some feedback, and I would like to think that I am very receptive to feedback. I would hope. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you when I see you next. Bye.